How are you?
Hi. Hey, everyone. So welcome to Up-Leveling Your Business July Find Your Freedom with Systems month. We are so excited. And all this month, I'm talking with business owners and administrators and people who have been there, done that. People who have helped grow their businesses, either their own business or on behalf of their team, with systems, and getting granular with some straight talk on what goes into building systems and what are some of the things that have short-term, just quick benefits, but also the big-term value to the business as a whole. So Jaclyn, thank you for joining me today. For those that don't know Jaclyn has worked in law firms for many years, a seasoned professional from paralegal to more administrative tasks, and has helped grow a family law business from about 300,000-ish to 3 million-ish, and knows a thing or two about building systems. It's where I first met her, and happy to have her now on our team, part of our team, helping business owners. So Jaclyn, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure.
So our whole discussion today is, how can you build systems in all parts of your business? Like, what are some of the first areas you tackle, and how does that help with growth of a business? I want to kind of share your perspectives on what system building has done for the businesses you've worked for.
So I worked in a lot of different size law firms. So when I started in law firms over 20 years ago, my integration into systems was working for a firm that did relocation work. And it was very strategic. Each department had its own things that we did. And we had to follow different rules because we were coordinating with relocation people to local attorneys, and there was a lot of systems, a lot of very detailed systems, and a lot of really big companies and players involved. So right out of college, got introduced to systems and how important they were for moving people across country for their jobs. That evolved into small law firms, working for solos and having to create systems and workflows, task lists and checklists for all different types of areas of law, from real estate to civil litigation. In firms that really didn't have it, they were small solos. And those tasks and checklists then helped me to even recruit and train very early in my career. That was kind of my passion, is bringing people in, learning to know how to do the job, train what I had known, and to move forward for each of us. And then when I became a firm administrator, that was helping to involve the whole team in it. So not just how I did my particular role, but how do all the various roles help to create alignment from the owners to the team members that you have on your team and the team members that you're looking to recruit.
Awesome. So I want to, you just tackled a bunch of great stuff in there. So task lists and checklists. I want, for anybody that's watching right now, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment in the comments below. What's your favorite task list? What's your favorite checklist that you built? Like, for everybody watching, I want you to participate and just share one with everyone else. Like, what's a game changer one you've done? I know for me, it was when I first started, and it was onboarding staff. It was that onboarding checklist. It just made it so much easier down the road. Jaclyn, what's one that stands out in your mind that you absolutely loved, kind of one of the first ones you created that just you kept going back to and going back to?
It was what to do in real estate closing, just making sure what documents needed to be signed by who, where did they need to sign, and where did they need to initial, because having those signatures was essential on all pieces, because to try and get all parties to re-sign was a massive headache. So those early checklists for real estate documents of what needed to be signed where.
Yeah, I just, there's so many checklists so in the workflow of how we do things. I know in my law firm business, I had them for before we filed a court document, there was a checklist to double check the county, the names of the parties, the names of the attorney of record, just all those different areas. That was such a key part. But in intake, there are checklists. In sales, there are checklists. In onboarding clients, there are checklists. In closing files, there are checklists, right? Everybody has their favorites. Marcella says, as an EA, my fave checklist would be the travel checklist. Yes. So many details to remember and to be able to make sure that you check all those boxes so it goes smoothly. Absolutely. So another thing you said in there was the alignment of the team. And I want you to talk about a little bit, what's been your experience with the having systems and bringing everybody onto the same page? We'll talk about, you also talked about recruiting. We'll get there. But what were a couple of the components of as you grew your team and bringing everybody onto the same page?
It starts very early as far as you know what the goal is. So if the goal is to accomplish the file being closed within a certain period of time. So if in a real estate file, it was this client wants to close by X date. These are the things we need to do to accomplish their goal. When I was a family law paralegal, it's the same type of thing. We were looking to keep in alignment with the date that the client wanted to be divorced by. So some clients in divorce would be like, I want to be divorced by the end of the year. So it's everything we can do to work backwards from that goal. So what the intention is set, whether it be a closing date or a dissolution date, what do we need to do to make sure all of those things stay in alignment, and then involving everyone on the team. So if it's the attorney, making sure that that's on their calendar, making sure there's a reminder for that, making sure that there's tasks to support those goals so that the financial affidavit's updated, discovery's done, in real estate, that the inspections were done. So it's really just looking at the different areas of law and what were the goals and who on the team could accomplish what in order to hold the client's goal of closing or divorce.
Well, and that's something you hear me say it all the time. Who shall do what by when? Having that clarity between the team members. So one can be, waiting and ready. So as soon as it gets handed off, it's like, boom, they're off and going. And, but having that clarity, otherwise people are like, oh, well, I have no idea when I'm going to get that. Or I have no idea who's responsible for the stuff before me. It just creates that chaos.
Right.
It can be a quiet chaos, but it's still a chaos versus that clarity of having the alignment of the team, having the systems in place, having everyone be working together to get it done. I love all of your examples of, very specific things you put in place. So tell me more about, you also mentioned recruitment. How do systems and checklists help with recruitment?
So from the very first of creating your job description, you want to make sure that the ideal candidate that you're attracting echoes the messaging that is your core values and where you want to grow your team. If you're trying to recruit and someone doesn't like change and you're looking to grow a massive business, then you're not going to find the right teammates if you're not putting that out there. So in order to let them know where you want to go and surround yourself with people that want to get you there, we want to start as early as our job description. And then in the interviews, making sure that we're doing personality testing or quizzes to check on the details that we're looking for. So if we're looking for a specific skill or a specific personality, we test for those things. And then when we're in the interviews, making sure that we are checking for those spot points to see that they are a team member that's going to add to that niche that we're looking for. And then same thing as once they're onboarded, we want to continue to engage them in our systems, make sure that they resonate with them and that they're still accurate. So they help us update as we onboard them, and that they feel aligned to the rest of the team so that they meet all the team members and that they become an integral part of the team. And by having different checklists of, oh, did you meet with this person? And did you review this? And did you have any thoughts on this? That we're touching all those points as we recruit and we onboard.
Yeah. And I know you've done a lot in the hiring and onboarding boot camp that we have, and really working with a ton of business owners, helping them create these systems. But yes, I mean, what you were talking about with it starts with recruitment and attracting the right mindset. And then it continues through those 5 steps of hiring to make sure we're really vetting and making sure we're bringing the right person in, because it sucks. I don't know about you, but I've been there where hired somebody, thought they'd be great, and they just bucked the systems every time. They just didn't want to follow that checklist or the conformity, and ultimately ended up needing to let that person go. It was like a waste of 5 weeks, and yeah, it's heart-wrenching. But so another thing you said in there was that delegate word. I love the delegate word. But the systems also give that clarity, so people feel good and have clear expectations of what is expected of them. What is this project versus some of the off-the-cuff delegation of, hey, do this, and without much information. What would you suggest were some of the key parts of being able to delegate in the moment, but then also have the person create a system and create that clarity as they went?
It's involving them really in the why. It's the why you are in this area, why you choose this business. So it's in the case of the real estate lawyer that really likes to help people have their first home and to buy or to manage multiple properties in real estate and commercial or in family law. It's because they really believe that they're helping affect families in the positive and help people create new lives. So your mission statement and the reason why you chose the path that you did, and communicating that to your team, and then letting them know how this project aligns with that. So if we're looking to serve more people, we need to add more people to our team, which means we need to have so many files per staff member, which means you need to have so many billable hours so that we can reach our financial goals to add to our team so that we can help more people, and really helping them understand that their cog in that wheel is this function so that we can do this thing. And then as we meet our different targets in our marketing and our sales, then we are allowing ourselves to build to our team so that we can help more people.
Awesome. Yes. And I think this was something you said earlier. I mean, it ties in with that alignment of the team. If everybody understands where we're going and the direction, it's easier for everyone to get behind that and move forward. Another part that I kind of heard you say, but you didn't quite come out and say, is clarity with the calendaring. I know in my law firm business that we lived and died by our calendar, and it was such a big part of moving us from being a reactive firm to a proactive firm. As you've worked with several different business owners and put together systems, what does that do when everyone has clarity on the timing or kind of the sequence of events? It doesn't always have to be on the calendar, but just the calendar timeline. What has been your experience there?
I like the calendaring in a lot of regards. So as a time management tool, knowing what to expect. So on Mondays, we are looking at what is on the court calendar for that week and making sure it's there, making sure that trickles down different reminders or tasks and tickles different systems. And then same thing with meetings. Like, when do we have our meeting with a team? When do we have our meeting with our attorney to strategize on the cases? When do we have our marketing meetings? So if those meetings aren't scheduled in advance and on the calendar, then they just don't happen. So really getting as a planning tool to set our intentions. Same thing with calendaring for reviews and different types of goals. And then to celebrate our team, like, when do we schedule happy hours? When do we do a team retreat? And then using it as like a blocking mechanism. So when am I going to look at my emails? Do I look at them at various points during the day rather than my email happening at me? And really using calendar as a planning and time management tool, and then using it to look back and see, where have I been? Where is my time being spent? And using it as strategic planning.
Yeah. No, it's being intentional with our time. It's being really clear with making sure we work on the things that matter. And I think I hear a lot of business owners telling me they want to build systems, but then I say, great. So when are you going to commit to doing this? And it's, I'm fond of saying, goals are just dreams until it's added to a calendar, right? Then it's makes it come together. But, Yeah, I think that a lot of this just ties to just building systems in general, right? Like just making the time, committing, knowing that the time you invest, we were just talking about this the other day, the time you invest in July is what gives you your freedom in the month of August, right? Like
Right.
knowing that you've got that process in place is what builds people through. So what else would this is titled Straight Talk on Building Systems. What would be your one giveaway takeaway for people of what can they do to start building systems?
It's that back to our delegation part, it doesn't need to be just them. I think that that's where a lot of people that I talk to when I'm engaging with our clients and our potential new clients and our boot camps is what I'm learning is so many people thought it needed to be the business owner themselves doing these things and creating these systems because it's my company. I have to do it. And that is where I think they get stuck in the weeds of thinking they don't have time. And what we've learned really in our workshops and in these boot camps is that it's not dependent on the business owner. And it goes back to, I think, my days of paralegal training and recognizing from the attorney, like, no, I can do it. I can do it. Give it to me. I can start that brief. I can start that motion. Like, that's what I'm here for. And I feel like this is the same thing for getting the business owners to give it to whoever on their team they can empower and really re-engage and keep that employee excited too, because most people on your team want to have more responsibility and they want to learn more. Most humans enjoy learning and engaging and creating. And if you involve your team, they're going to think of things that you didn't think of, and they're going to come at it from a different perspective too. Ultimately, the business owner is going to approve everything, and they're going to be the ones to say, yes, this works for me, that no, this doesn't work for me. But the first draft, the first modification, the engagement in our office hours, all of those things can be delegated to their team, and who on their team they can discuss with their different teammates to decide.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it's, again, it comes down to a mindset shift of it doesn't have to be the owner doing it all. You've got to, build a team and allow the team to step in and help. And, we all have different management styles, from dictators to laissez-faire, let it be, and let everybody do their own thing, right?
Right.
Hopefully most of us are somewhere in the middle, although we oscillate from day to day. I'm sure there are days I'm more of a dictator and other days more of a laissez-faire person, but you find that rhythm, and it's so important to just get that involvement of the team, to get others to have the opportunity to step up. So love that.
And we've seen people change too, even in the boot camp, different things that they thought of who they needed to hire and onboard next, and just the collaboration that people have been able to share to be like, oh, actually, I guess I don't need an associate to do that. I could actually get a paralegal to do that. Maybe I could get an executive assistant to do that, so that I don't need to be using my paralegal staff for that. So really seeing how people with that support and collaboration can change from what they thought they needed to what they end up with hiring.
Yeah. And I hope everybody watching, give a clap, a thumbs up, whatever it is, if you, understand, recognize the value of working with your team and allowing others to help you build up. I mean, I think everyone on our team is amazing and all value that and understand, whether it's going on vacation or whether it's just getting a project done before crunch time, or just using other people with different strengths and weaknesses, right? That's part of working as a team, but those systems also give us some clarity on how it's supposed to go so that we can all drive faster together in the right direction. Well, thank you, Jaclyn, for jumping in and sharing today kind of some straight talk about, a lot of reality-based comments that you made about just the checklists and the just making sure every element is got a process, got clarity for those that are working on it, makes it it so much better. You had the unique perspective of having worked with different business owners over the years. And how much better is it to like compare and contrast? What's it like to work for somebody that's in chaos with no systems?
Right.
And what's it like to work with a team that does have systems?
Right. Well, I'd like to come into those law firms that were in chaos and help them clean it up. One of the law firms, when I went in to work for him, he had shadow policies all along the whole back wall, and we needed to conquer those and get them done, and then figure out how we never let that happen again. so I appreciate the complexity of like digging out of the holes, but never to get back in them. So that is building those systems of, okay, well, if you're not working on this, then you can work on this. And that just keeps structure for the person doing the job, right? So the paralegal knows what their expectations by having clear workflows and processes to follow. If I need to do this financial affidavit before this court date and I have that in my checklist 3 weeks earlier, I'm not rushing around the week of trying to update it. And although we may have that awareness in our minds that that needs to be done, not having it in front of us as a reminder in our workflows, then that it just, we're setting ourselves up for failure if it's not written down and we have to try and remember it. There's just too many staff people that I've worked with in the past that are like, I've got it, and it's up here, and then that doesn't happen. So we need to have them written down. We need to know what you're doing in your day and where your day goes so that we can get you assistance when you need it. So we know when it's time to hire. We need to have a clear understanding of what you're working on and what those processes are.
Awesome. Well, I see that we've had a bunch of different chats. Awesome tips, ladies. Thank you, Marcella. And Christy was commenting her favorite checklist, calendaring for success. Definitely another good one. So yes, so many ways we can all build systems in every part of the business. I'm passionate about this. This is why we've made July the Find Your Freedom with Systems month. And I want so many people to like take this opportunity this month to build systems. We've discounted down all of our systems packages, bunch of discounts with our coaching programs, all our boot camps, all different aspects of the business. So for anyone out there that's ready to build systems, private message me or anyone on our team, click on any of our links, go check out our system sale. We're here to help drive some action. We don't want you just think about it in theory. We want people to actually implement in July so that you find your freedom and take that time off in August. So we want some like quick results. We want to see some great action moving forward. So Jaclyn, any final tips for business owners before we wrap up for today?
I think one of the things just with the bundles is that for people that might think, oh, I just don't have time to build them all. Well, who's wearing your marketing hat? Who's wearing your financial hat? Like there's different people on your team that can start with the package. They can look at it. They can see what adjustments they want to make or revisions. Let them start with it and then let them involve you in what they think their changes are to their manuals, to their workflows. And that way you can see where their mind's at and what you want it to be versus what they think it is. And then you can create that alignment. But you need to start somewhere and let us start you off with that foundation.
Awesome. Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's wrap up. I know people have got lots to get done in their busy days, but I hope they found great value in listening in on our straight talk on systems. So thank you, Jaclyn.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.